Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna show you how to make granny squares changing colors in this video. I've seen many tutorials around of granny squares, of course, and how to change colors for granny squares, but most of the videos that I found, you have to cut the yarn and then reattach the new color yarn when you're changing rows if you want to have multiple colors. But in this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to do that without cutting the yarn. I'm a little bit lazy and I don't like to weave in my ends at the end of the work, so I just do it along the way. And I'm going to show you how I do that, just in case it's helpful for you and you like this method as well. These are the two granny squares that I'm making for a project, so I'm going to show you with one of these examples how I do it and how I carry the yarn over with me without cutting it. So I hope it's useful for you, you like the tutorial, and yeah, let's get started. So these are the granny squares. I'm going to show you the back. What I do is just carry the yarn with me throughout my project, so then I don't have to reattach it. I just carry it over. From the front side, you don't see the changes in the colors. If you turn it, is where you see all the ends already weaved in, so you don't have to go back and do it later on. In these granny squares, I'm doing 5 rows. The 2 first ones are the same color, then I change colors in the 3rd row, then on the 4th, and then I finish with the 5th. But basically with this method, you can add as many rows as you want and make it as big or small as you want, as soon as you catch the technique, basically. We will grab our yarn, and you will also need the crochet hook that matches the yarn. So mine actually is 3 millimeters as the yarn recommended, so I'm going to start with these, and I will be showing you an example of starting with orange and then we will be changing to red. Grab your yarn, this is the end of the yarn or the beginning, wrap it around your fingers and do a cross with the yarn, then insert it underneath, grab that strand and pull it through, and that is your slip knot. Once we have the slip knot, we'll be chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're gonna close this circle. What this would do, if we look at the granny square here, we're gonna close this circle here. This is gonna be the beginning of the granny square, so we need the circle to be closed, and to close it we will just insert the yarn in the first chain that we did. Grab your yarn, pull it through and pull it through. So that is the circle. You can't see much, so I'm gonna just put there markers so you can see it easier what's the center of our circle. So it's also easier to know where to insert your hook while you are doing the first row. That's the center of that's your loop basically, where you will be inserting your yarn now to do the first row. Now we are going to chain 2. This is our first double crochet, and what we are doing right now is these clusters of double crochet. So we have 4 clusters in the first row, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and each cluster has 3 double crochets each. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to show you how to do the corners to then do the second row later on. We've just chained 2, which counts as our first double crochet in one of the clusters. So let's do another double crochet. We yarn over, insert in the middle where the marker is, grab your yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through 2. So now we have this center, the circle, we have 2 double crochets and we're going to do the third. So yarn over again, pull it through the middle, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, pull it through 2. There. So this is our first cluster. Don't worry if you don't see any clear structure right now. It's a little bit tough to follow the beginning, but that's basically your circle where you see the marker, and now you have 1, 2, 3, which is your first cluster. So we're gonna do the first corner, and to do a corner we just have to chain 2. This is the corner, and I will do another cluster of double crochets, or 3 double crochets. So yarn over, go to the center, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now we have the first double crochet of the second cluster, so we need 2 more to make the 3. Yarn over, pull through the center, yarn over, pull through the center again, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. And the last one, so yarn over again, go to the center, yarn over, go to the center again, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. If you see, we have the first cluster, the second cluster, and one of the corners. So we are basically doing this, and we have that corner. Now we have to do this 2 more times. So now let's do another corner. That means we chain 2, yarning over, going through the center, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We have the first double crochet. Let's do the second, same way. Pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and the third one. Go to the center. There we go, pull through 2. Now we have another 3 double crochet cluster. And let's do the last one. So we need to do another corner. That means chain 2, yarn over, center, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. We yarn over, go to the center, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. And our last double crochet to complete the cluster. And pull through. So now, so you can see, I'm gonna remove this marker so you see it a bit better. If you can see it now, we have the first cluster of 3 double crochets, 1 corner, another cluster, corner, cluster, corner, cluster. So we're missing 1 corner there. So let's do a chain 2, and let's close the first row. So if you go to that first chain that you did to go up and create the first row, you will just insert your hook into that one, grab the yarn and do a slip knot, which would be just pulling through that one again without yarning over. And this is your first row. So we just did this part here, these 4 clusters, and now we're going to be doing the second row, which is the same color. So I'm not going to change colors yet, but we're going to go up to create our second row. And to go up, we will just be chaining 2. It will count as our first double crochet, and you can see that here we're having the corners to work with. Like in here you see that we have 2 clusters coming out of each corner, so we're gonna have 8 clusters in total, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We just went up with this chain, and it's right at this corner here, so we're gonna just start in this one. Here we will just be doing a yarn over, insert in that corner there, yarn over again, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So what we're doing is traveling to that second corner to start our clusters here. So we're gonna do a first cluster. Let's imagine that we went up here in this part here. We just traveled this way here. We're doing the first double crochet there, so we need to complete here a cluster, do a corner, and complete another cluster. So let's do that. We have the first double crochet. We need to have 2 more to complete the cluster. So yarn over, pull through that corner, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We have 2 now. Let's do the third the same way. And we have our first cluster in the second row. Because we're now at a corner, we need to chain 2. Every corner you need to chain 2. And let's do here the second cluster of the corner. So let's do 3 double crochets again. Three. And now we'll go to the next corner. Because it's not a corner here, we will just yarn over, insert into that corner, the big hole, do the first cluster of 3 double crochets. So 1 double crochet, 2, 3, that's it. And since we're at the corner now, we chain 2 and do another cluster in this corner so we can turn. So yarn over, same hole, yarn over, pull through 2, over, pull through 2, and we are missing another 2 to complete the cluster. So let's do the second and the third. So you see now we have another corner made, and all the corners are made of 2 clusters of 3 double crochets. So now we will go to the third whole, third corner of our first row. We'll do another 2 clusters of 3 double crochets with the corner. So let's yarn over again, go into that hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, first double crochet. Let's do 2 more, 2 and 3. Now we chain 2 because we are at the corner, and another cluster of 3 double crochets. And 3. And we're gonna go now to the first corner. If you see, this is where we started. This is where we chained the 2 initial ones. We're now here, and we're gonna go to this last hole that we have, the last corner of the first row. So we yarn over, three. We are again at the corner, so we chain 2, and this first chain that we did before is going to count as our double crochet, as the last double crochet. So here we actually just need to do 2 more and then join with that one. So yarn over, insert through the hole, do a double crochet. This is 1. We do the second one, and now we will do a slip stitch with this one. So insert your hook there in the last chain of that one and pull through. So this is your second row. Now we have more holes, as you can see. I'm going to teach you now how to continue doing it in the third row while we change colors. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 corners, but we also have these holes in the middle that we also have to, and I'll show you that we will also be doing clusters into. And now we're gonna do a change of color to red. But as I said, I'm not gonna be cutting the yarn here. I'm just gonna continue with it. Actually, I'm gonna make it travel with me, like here in the back. The yarn travels underneath the clusters of double crochets, and then it gets pulled also to keep working in the next rows. Grab your other yarn. Mine is red. Hope you can see the difference now in the video. And what we will do is just fold it once so that you have this little hook. Put it through your hook and pull through, just like that. With your previous yarn, just make it tighter, so close that that initial chain that you had, just pull it tight and pull the red tighter there. So now that is your working yarn. You don't have to worry about this one. It will be traveling with you basically, and at the same time you're going to be weaving in your ends, like this red part is also going to be weaved in the back, so you don't have to go later on and weave it in. So what we will do here is chain 2. So we're going to be going up to the 3rd row, and we're chaining 2 now with our new yarn color. What we're going to be doing is holding these 2 strands, so this is the beginning or the end of the new color yarn, and this was your previous working yarn, the previous color that you were using. Those are going to remain in the back, but they're going to be going along with you throughout your work, so you can weave in the ends as you go. So what you do, we're now at this hole here, what is one of the middle holes. I'm going to show you, we are at this point here. We're going to have to do first 1 cluster of 3 double crochets there. So this counts as the first double crochet. What we will do now is yarn over and do the other 2. So we go through that hole there in the middle, pull through 2, and pull through 2. We have the 2nd double crochet, and then we do the 3rd to complete the cluster. 2 and 3. Right, so you finished your cluster. You want these 2 yarns, these 2 pieces of yarn to travel with you, to be weaved in, so you don't see the ends. What you will do now is yarn over, because you're going to do the cluster here in this corner. Insert your hook in that corner, in that big hole, and always make sure that these 2 strands are on top of your hook. Right, so hold them there while you work your double crochet. So yarn over, pull through the hole, and do your first cluster there. Always making sure, I will show you again, when you yarn over and put it inside that hole, those 2 strands of yarn, they need to be on top of your hook. So yarn over again, pull through. This is your 2nd double crochet, and let's do the 3rd through that hole with the yarns on top of the hook. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have the first cluster in that corner, and if you see in the back, we already made those 2 strands of yarn travel with us, and they're just going along as we work. So let's chain 2 to make the corner, and again yarn over, go through that hole. The yarns are on top of the hook there. Yarn over, do the first double crochet, 2nd double crochet, and 3rd double crochet to complete the cluster and complete the corner. This is how it's traveling with you. It always stays in the back, and now we have this hole here in the middle. So it's the same thing, we just yarn over, pull through that hole, making sure that these 2 yarns are on top of your hook. Yarn over your working yarn, pull through, and do your first double crochet. Let's do that again to complete the cluster 2 more times. So yarn over, go through the hole, yarns on top of the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 2nd double crochet, and then let's do the 3rd. And again, the yarn is traveling with you in the back. So yarn over, let's do a corner. We put it through the hole, same thing, make sure that these 2 are on top of the hook. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So 2 more double crochets, those 2 strands on top of your hook. Right, as we are at the corner, we do chain 2, and again yarn over, pull through, those 2 yarns on top of the hook, pull through, so let's continue now with this hole here. Now yarn over again, let's go to the 3rd corner, these yarns again on top of the hook. Chain 2 to make the corner, and again with the yarns on top. As you can see, the red yarn already disappeared, it's already weaved in. We will just continue. We can drop now the red one since it's already at its end, and we will just continue carrying the orange one over with us until the end. So let's go now do this center here. Now we don't have the red one, but it's the same thing. We keep the orange one on top of the hook. And now we are at the last corner here. So let's do 2 clusters, yarn on top. We chain 2, 1 and 2. And let's do the final cluster. The yarn is still on top of the hook with us. So basically your orange yarn, that is what you have to change to now, it's already here. You don't need to attach it again. It already traveled with you all around the back of your work. While at the same time the red one that you had, like you just attached, already is weaved in, so you don't have to go back and do that. And now we're gonna close the 3rd row to get started with the 4th. So to close the 3rd row, you just need to do a slip stitch. So you go to that first chain that you did in the beginning, pick that last chain, the one more at top, and then do a slip stitch. So you yarn over, pull through and pull through. So that's your 3rd row. And now we're going to jump into the 4th row, which has again orange. So as you see, we already have the yarn. We don't need to reattach it. We don't need to cut this yarn because we're going to be using it at the end in the 5th row. So we just need to carry working with the orange yarn that is very conveniently waiting for us at the back. And the only thing we need to do now is just grab the orange yarn instead of the red one. So grabbing the orange yarn now, that's going to be your working yarn. Now you will do a chain 3, because this one you pulled through to make it tighter. So that first chain, the red chain, disappears. This is going to be kind of like your first chain. So now you do 1 and 2. From here, we will just yarn over, go through that hole here, making sure that the red strand is on top of your hook. Yarn over, pull through, do the first double crochet. Now we're gonna do a second one, the yarn has been always traveling with me, staying in the top of the hook. And we're gonna be doing that all around this fourth row. Let's yarn over to do the first cluster in the corner. So let's do our 3 double crochets there. Three, we chain 2 for the corner, and do another cluster. Now we will do here a cluster of 3. There. And we're going to continue doing this same pattern, so doing clusters of 3 in the holes in the middle, and then 2 clusters of 3 in each corner with the chain 2, all around here, while we have our red yarn traveling with us, always making sure that when you pull it through these holes here, it needs to stay on top of your hook. So I will do these faster. I will meet you here again to show you how to join again here to close the row. And we're gonna continue now to our final hole here that already has the initial chain there. So our working yarn, the next working yarn, is already traveling with us in the back. So let's yarn over and do 2 double crochets. Now we'll do a slip stitch with the first one. So if we count 1 and 2, insert it there and do a slip stitch, which is just pulling through and pulling through. So yeah, we finished our 4th row. If you see there, we already have our yarn ready waiting for us for the 5th row. We don't need to cut the yarn now. What I do now, because I'm not going to continue and do a 6th row. If I would, then the orange yarn will be traveling with me all around the piece again. But since this is my last color, this is how it would look like at the end. My last color is the red one. That is the one that we're missing. I'm not going to be using the orange yarn anymore, but I'm still going to travel with it for a little bit. You see here, it traveled with me also in the back in this one. This is my way of weaving in this end without having to do it later on. So yeah, let's get now started with row 5 in red. Let's just do one first chain, and we pull the orange one tight so it disappears there. And let's chain 2. This again is our first double crochet. We're actually gonna work in this hole first. Again, remember to keep the orange yarn with you on top of the hook while you do the yarn overs and pull through the holes. And we have the first cluster. We have to do another one here. You basically have to follow the same pattern that you did for all the other rows. So doing these holes here in the middle. Now we have 3 of them. If you see, 1, 2, 3 in each of the sides. So those ones, they only have 1 cluster of 3 double crochets, and then you have the 4 corners that you have to work with 2 clusters of 3 double crochets plus the chain 2. So I'm gonna meet you again in here. That's when I'm gonna drop the other yarn that I'm carrying along in the back. Now I'm at the other half of the 5th row. Now at the back, I can just cut the orange yarn there. I don't need to weave in that end because it's already in the back, and we just continue until the other end there. You can keep going if you want to make it bigger, add more colors, and you just don't want to stop at 5 rows. Only difference is you don't need to cut the yarn, the orange yarn in here, to just move it, or if you're changing to another color you can cut it and then add a different color. But to me this is the length that I want, just these 5 rows. So yeah, we do another slip stitch, we cut our yarn and we pull it through. This is our granny square. Hope you like it. So that's how I do the granny squares. I hope you liked the video and you found it useful. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.